Okay, hello dear students, this is your Maria ma'am with a new chapter, biodiversity and the conservation. In the ecology, already we have studied about the one chapter which comes under the last unit 4, that is ecosystem. I have already explained to you. This is another chapter, that is biodiversity and conservation. Okay. In the biodiversity and conservation, we have nearly 5 topics. Those are levels of biodiversity, then number of species on the earth, patterns of biodiversity, loss of biodiversity, and biodiversity and conservation. So among these topics, today in this video, I'll be explaining to you levels of biodiversity, number of the species on the earth, patterns of biodiversity. In patterns of biodiversity, we have 2 topics. In that, today we'll complete the latitudes of the biodiversity. So coming to what is biodiversity? So when we say the bio means what? Organism. Diversity means different types of organism existing on this biosphere or the earth. We call it as biodiversity. In very simple form also we tell it is defined as a collection of variety of all forms of life. Okay, all forms of life means it ranges from the microorganism to the macroorganism. Okay, well defined definition I have written here, that is biodiversity is a diversity of a biological organization ranging from cellular macromolecules to the biomass. Okay, so here biomes means different types of habitat. It is very simply, you can also define this as I have told you. It's a collection of variety of all forms of life, or you can also define it as what? The existence of different varieties of the living organism on the biosphere or the earth. We call it as biodiversity. It also regards to the sum total of a number of species richness. Okay, so when we regard with the term biodiversity, so here one name I have put and a photograph I have put. The photograph is of Edward Wilson. Okay, this photograph is of the Edward Wilson photograph it is. So here the term biodiversity was coined by another 2 fellows. They were Walter and Rosen in 1985. Did you follow? So before it was popularized, it was been coined. Biodiversity, the name was being, or the term was being coined by Walter and Rosen. But the term was being popularized by Edward Wilson. So Edward Wilson was the person to popularize this word. How the popularity became means he gave the levels of the biodiversity. So he combined the diversity at all levels of biological organization, made the popularization of the word biodiversity. So it was Edward Wilson who popularized the term, but the term was coined by whom I told you? Walter and Rosen. Okay. The levels of biodiversity we'll learn now. Now, in the levels of biodiversity, there are 3 types. One is genetic diversity. Second is species diversity. Third is ecological diversity. So these are the 3 major diversity which comprises of the whole globe or the earth. Okay. So accordingly, we will learn one by one the levels of biodiversity. So the first one is the level in the levels of biodiversity. It is genetic diversity. So what is genetic diversity? Means here one sentence I have given. Diversity shown by a single species at genetic level. Okay. And one example also have given, that is Rauwolfia vomitoria, which is grown seen in the Himalaya. It shows a genetic variation in the potency, and due to why it shows a genetic, maybe it has a potency and the concentration of the chemical reserpine. Okay. Now, before going into that, if you have to understand what is genetic diversity means, in this example, we are trying to tell Rauwolfia vomitoria, one more species also is there, that is Rauwolfia serpentina. See, this is a plant which is used as an antidote for the snake bite also, they tell. This plant is very famous because of its chemical reserpine. So reserpine means now you understood what is the importance of that chemical. Okay. Now, if I give another two examples of it, you will understand in a better way. So one more example of we will take in of human race. Okay. Coming to human or man is what? Homo sapien. Homo sapien means in first year you have studied. He is what? One species, right? Single species. Homo sapien. Man on the earth is said to be as a Homo sapien. It is a single species. But in that single species only, we find how many varieties of human race. There are many varieties based on the habitat. How? Uh, can you tell? You cannot tell. I will tell for you. So that is you have Negroid, Mongoloid, Cascoid. When we tell Mongoloid, Chinese people, the round face, small eyes, small nose, small mouth. How we are features Indians? All features are legible. All the sense organs are legible. Our nose, our eyes, our mouth. So see, this is a human race varieties. Okay, Cosquid, American Indian, Australoid, Polynesians. So this is a different varieties of human race, but they are all single species. They come under single species Homo sapien. That's what I'm trying to tell. Species is single, but they vary in what? Genetic level. You're understanding? So that what we call it as diversity. Okay, another two example I'll give you so that you will have a clear idea. This picture is of Rauwolfia vomitoria, and here they are trying to tell in Himalaya itself, each species, it is a single species, but you find varieties of plants with the same character. Why it is been varietized and why the potency is more means because of the concentration of the chemical reservoir. Okay. So another two examples I will give you. Okay. So here, this is one more example. India has more than 50,000 different strains of rice. Rice is what? Single species. Yes or no? Okay. So, and we also have given 1,000 varieties of mango. Mango means mango only. Mango, it is one single species. But in the single species only, there are how many varieties, variation is there. This is genetic variation. Okay, the strains are different in rice. 50,000 varieties of rice we find, but it is species is rice. Single species is rice. So now you got an idea. Okay, don't want. The fourth example I'll give you. Dog. Okay, in dog also there are many varieties of dogs. The dogs are sold by its variation. This is genetic variation. How many types of we know? We know regarding German Shepherd. We know then a bulldog, Dalmatia, Indian Grey Hound, Dachshund, Alsatian, Eskimo dogs. Eskimo dogs we find in the snow bed. So in a Himalaya region and all they use this dogs. Huh? So and Irish Terrier. All these are varieties of dog. But dog is a single species. What is this varieties? They shows the variation in the genetic level or the gene level. That what we call it as genetic diversity. So I have given nearly four examples for you to understand what is genetic diversity apart from the Rauwolfia vomitoria. So which are those four? Rice one, which is showing how many varieties? 50,000 different strains of rice. Mango, 1,000 varieties of mango. Coming to human race also, I told you so many variations of human race and also the dog. So by this four example, I believe you have understood what is genetic diversity. one thing you understand, whatever diversity you study also in 3 levels of diversity, you should understand the meaning diversity. Diversity means different, many, that's all, different types. We call it as diversity. We'll go to the next level of biodiversity. Say second one. So second one is species diversity. So here what we are trying to tell, in a particular area there are different species. Okay, that what we call it as diversity at species level. If you define it, it is said as variety of different species of living forms in a given area. In a particular area, that species will be of a different types. For example, here we have given, this is the Western Ghat and this is a Eastern Ghat. So here you find Western Ghats have a greater amphibian. You know what are amphibian? They have the characteristic of adapting themselves to the both aquatic and also terrestrial. So here amphibian species diversity is more than that of the Eastern Ghats here. So here you can see the amphibian of Western Ghats pictures I have put here. How many types there are? There are many types. So in a particular area, existence of the different types of species, we call it as a species diversity. So the third level of diversity is ecological diversity. What is ecological diversity means? Different types of ecosystem, different types of habitat. Based on the habitat, you find the species also existing. Okay. So what is correct definition? Very simple to be said means it is defined as an aggregation of various habitat community types and abiotic environments in a given area. So that what we call it as ecological diversity, or it is also called as community diversity. So ecosystem, you know what is ecosystem? Particularly if you take each habitat, it is called as one ecosystem. Total number of ecosystem existing on the globe, we call it as a ecological diversity. So one ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of the biosphere. So what is a ecosystem? One ecosystem means a particular area with a number of species. We call it as ecosystem. For example, if you take desert here in this picture, desert is one ecosystem. Okay, rainforest is one ecosystem. So in a desert ecosystem, what type of animals exist? You can see in the picture also I have shown camel. You know, there are a squirrel, then a desert rat, then there's a snakes are there. So where the animals are able to consume very less water and they can prevent a evaporation. The plants also which can prevent a transpiration can exist in the desert. Same plant if you bring and put it in a Himalayan range forest, will it grow? It will not grow. That means what? Each ecosystem differ from each other. Totally all the ecosystem if you combine, what's the word we can give it? Ecological diversity. Got it? So what is ecological diversity means? Different types of habitat or different types of ecosystem existing, we call it as ecological diversity. So here also examples I have given in the picture. So rainforest is one of the ecosystem where you can see tall plants are there and you find many types of species existing in the forest, in the rainforest, animals also, plants also, insects also, there will be different varieties. So it is one of the ecosystem. Coming to mangrove forest. So mangrove forest is a one where you find the nematophores. What are nematophores? These are the trees which grow in the clogged soil, that is a clay clogged soil. It will grow where the root cannot respire, so the root will come up to respire. So that's what we call it as nematophores. So that type can exist only in a particular ecosystem. That's what we call it as mangrove forest. Then estuaries I have shown you. Coming to coral reefs, aquatic organism in the ocean. Ocean is said to be one of the ecosystem. In this ecosystem, you find a varieties of the water living animals. You cannot drop a lion into the water, it will die. Yes or no? So the habitat differs from each other. All the habitat together, we call it as ecological diversity. Then wetland ecosystem, alpine meadows. So these are varieties of ecosystem gathered together on this biosphere. We call it as ecological diversity. So you should be knowing India is also one of the richest diversity of the habitat, ranging from where in India. These all are the pictures of Indian only we have gathered. So India is said to be one of the richest diversity. For this is a proof, such as it has a desert, a rainforest, mangroves, coral reef, wetland, estuaries, alpine meadows. All are the to prove that India is the most richest diversity country we can tell. Okay. Next topic is the number of species on the earth. That is global species diversity. Since this global species diversity, this is accounted by IUCN. Okay, it is accounted by whom? IUCN. So according to IUCN, International Union of Conservation of the Nature and Natural Science, we call it as a IUCN. So according to this is one of the board which will estimate the existence of the number of species. According to IUCN in 2004, okay, this is a record which has been maintained. Even you can refer to the Red Data book. In Red Data book, we find the numerous plants record, that is plants and animal, endemic species, extinct species, threatened species, vulnerable species, rare species. All these records will be kept in a Red Data book, which is maintained by IUCN only. So here IUCN in 2004 has estimated a level of species. It tells more than 1.5 million species were described so far. Okay, how many? Nearly 1.5 million. So in this study, the scientists who exist and gives a particular estimation about the species existence is Robert May. So in this picture, I have shown him. He is the Robert May. So what does the Robert May tells here? According to Robert May, global estimates is about 7 million species which have on the earth. So he considered the species to be discovered in the tropics, that is only 22% of total species have been recorded so far. Can we imagine? Only 22%. That means rest are being not recorded or not accountable. Still we tell beneath the ocean there are many species which are not been identified or named. Even if you enter into Amazon equatorial forest also, there are many species which are not been recorded, they tell. Okay, why this correct estimation is not found means maybe due to inadequate equipments, or might be in the discovery there is some problem. But now, until now, what it tells, only 22% of the total species we have the record. Still it has to be discovered. Maybe you are the one more to get discovered after finishing your degree or something. Hope so you become the researcher also in the same topic. Yes, let us see. Okay, so for more taxonomic group species, the inventories are more complete in the temperate than in the tropical countries. What do you mean by this? They were not able to complete the inventories, they were not able to complete the exact status. And you should also be knowing about this. Many ecologists, they have given a statistical comparison of temperate and tropical species richness. Here, Robert May, Robert May, he was able to discover in the tropic, not in the temperate. Here, a word I have used, is discovered in the tropics, not in the temperate. So many biologists and ecologists made a statistical comparison of both habitat species, that is temperate and tropical species richness of an extensively studied group of insects, then extrapolate this ratio compared with the other groups of animals and plants to come up with a gross estimation, to come up with a gross estimation of total number of species on the earth. As Robert Bay has done only 22%. After him also other biologists will not sit back. Even they started doing the work. When they started comparing Robert May work. They started to compare the comparison between the species existing in the tropics and also in the temperate. So why they did this? So that they can have a gross accountability of the total number of species existing. How many are there, what are there, everybody will be having curiosity to know. So there are many ecologists who are working on this. Okay. So here total number of species on the earth, there is a pie chart given here. So this we can tell has it is in a depict. Okay, so here it is depicted, which means showing something in a painting or the drawing as such. So you'll be knowing in the earth biodiversity based on currently available species by the inventories. Okay, what is the result they have given? The result of what they have given by the inventories is that 70% of all the species are recorded are animals. That's what I have put. Animals are more diverse. That is 70%, whatever they discovered, they were able to find 70% of all the species recorded were animals. While plants, when we come to the plants, in the plants they included algae, fungi, bryophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm, and it comprises no more than 22% of the total. Understanding? So here I have shown you 70% when they did an estimation on the earth, the more diverse they showed was 70% they were able to discover, and 22% was plant. Plant means together it is, you have studied now metaphyta, that is species record when they took, that is algae, fungi, bryophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm. Together it accounts for how many? 22%. Plant A means all those comes with that of the fungi also. We have how many species means 22%, comparing with the animals there were 70% species existing. And among the animals when we calculate here, insects are the most species rich group. How many insects you know? We know hardly some 5. Mosquito, cockroach, butterfly, then and hardly some 4 to 5 we remember. You know that it is insects are the most more in number than other organism itself. More in number means more number of species existing than in another. So when they accounted they when they collected 10 animals, okay, they started to find 10 species in one particular area. They go to count. When they went to count, in among 10 animals, 7 were insects. That means what? 70% types of insects are being found. So that is the population range of species level in the of the insects in animal group. That means insects are more. There are many number of insects it seems which are not been discovered, also not named also, they tell when they enter into the Amazon or the equatorial forest. But here they tell the highest number of species existing among the animals is insect. How it is represented? See in this diagram you can see in invertebrates. The pie chart in invertebrates, here you can see insects is occupying the maximum space here. Can you see maximum space? That is its species is nearly 70%, whereas mollusca you can see it's also very less than a crustacean. Then this is totally other group other animals. Okay, it is of other animals. So here we are trying to tell the number of species existing is more is insects in invertebrate. Coming to the vertebrates, when we refer the vertebrates, I told you know the oceanic animals are more than that of the terrestrial animals. It seems there are still many are there inside beneath the seabed which are not been discovered there. Here they tell the fishes. Fishes shows the highest rating of the existence, then that of the mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians. Okay, mammals means we also come here only. Okay, in vertebrata, fish is showing the eye range. So here in third point have given the number of fungi species is more than combined total of the species of fishes, amphibians, reptiles and mammals. So this is a third pie chart where we try to tell the fungi is of more. This is a single kingdom. So no, where when we consider angiosperm, it includes even dicot, monocot varieties of plants in the angiosperm. Here the angiosperm is also little lesser when it is compared to the fungi. They tell the fungi species are more than that of the vertebrates. Okay, fungi species are more than that of the combined total species of fishes, mammals, birds, amphibians and reptiles. Then here in the third pie chart we are trying to understand the plant species. In plant species, when we compare fungi also, fungi is occupies the largest portion than that of the angiosperm. Then other are mosses, that is bryophytes, then ferns and lilies, that is pteridophyte, then down pink it is algae and lichens. Okay, so among the invertebrates which is showing highest range of species means insects. Among vertebrates it is fishes. Then among the plants it is fungi. So this is total number of species on the global. Okay, this is an accountability of the total number of species. Okay, the next this what I told you here in the total number of species study only, when we consider India is said to be one of the what is that major biotic country or with a rich habitat it has. How do we tell? Okay, why biologists are I can if I ask you why the biologists are not sure about the number of prokaryotic species estimation. When we consider many types of species also, if you are being seen through the naked eyes, you will tell 1, 2, 3, 4 and you can count. There are species which cannot be seen also. You can you see with your naked eyes amoeba, protozoa, paramecium, hydra. This all can you see through your own eyes? No, but still they are all living organisms. So I have a question telling why the biologists were not sure about estimating prokaryotic species. Why? Why means you cannot count, it undergoes cloning also. It can be cultured in the laboratory also. At once if you culture, you cannot accountable. It may multiply so fast and become 10,000 or 10,000 millions also. For that there is a reason also. There might be, the problem is that conventional taxonomic methods are not suitable for identifying what microbial species, and many species are simply not culturable under the laboratory conditions also. So here if you can account higher organism, microorganism cannot be accountable or estimated. So I told you that's the reason. So when we consider India as a one among the mega diversity, you should be knowing in the 12 mega diversity, India is also one of the mega diversity. Why? Because India has how much? India has only 2.4% of the world land area. How many percent? 2.4% of world land area. But 8.1% of the species diversity. Look at this. So many species are existing in India. So that is why India is considered to be one of the 12 mega diversity countries. Okay, in among the 12 mega city countries, India is also one of the mega diversity country. Why I told you, no, it has nearly how much percent of species? 8.1% of species diversity is there in India. So we are living in a richest diversity country. And nearly 45,000 species of plants are there and twice as many as animal. In that pie chart I have shown you, the animal is 70%, whereas the plant existing species is 22%. So that what is told in number here, nearly 45,000 species of plants, species of plants are there, means twice the number of the plant species are there, the animals. So applying this May's global estimate, what did Robert Mater, he told in the tropics there is a existence of the 22%. Only in the tropics he accounted. But when we apply his estimation, global estimation, India would have more than 1 lakh plant species and 3 lakh animal species itself. But this, we are very rich in diversity. Nothing else. Okay. So 8.1 means it is not a less thing. That's why we are also one of the mega diversity. Okay. Now, why they were not able to complete the biological wealth inventory of India? Okay. What was the problem in completing the biological wealth inventory of India? In India, correct estimation was not calculated. What might be the reason? 8.1% is not approximate estimation. Still some biologists believe in India there are still more species it seems which are divided. Then we will become among the 12 first ranking in the diversity might be. So here you can see different ecosystem of India, that is Darjeeling tea fields, Konkan coast, okay, then Kodaikanal falls, Tirupurunji, then Deodar Forest, Himachal Pradesh. All these are refers to tell India is the highest diverse with the plants and animals. Okay. So the total number of species, this what I told. I asked you the question that time. Why biologists are not sure about the total number of prokaryotic species. Okay, let me consider prokaryotic. Today you have eaten curd. Remaining curd you will keep in a bowl outside. In the go for a sleep. Tomorrow morning you come. The curd will be raised, or if you see the idli or dosa batter, it will rise. What would have been happen? There in idli and dosa, there will be fermentation. The number of yeast cells would have been increased. Right? Can you account the yeast cells now? That is also living organism. Okay. Let us ask in curd. Okay, the lactobacilli would have been become lactococci. Lactococci would have been multiplied into lacs together over here. Can we accountable that microorganism? That is why prokaryotic species cannot be accounted item. Here two reasons are given. One is conventional taxonomic methods are not suitable for the identifying microbial species. One more is in the laboratory many species cannot be cultured. Okay, that is the reason why biologists are not sure about the total number of prokaryotic species. In the last slide I showed you, in India, okay, 8.1% of the species exist. That means what are those species? Plants, animals. In the pie chart I showed, all those, because we are able to see them, so we are able to count. This we cannot see, very difficult to count also. One approximate value we can give, not exact. That what they try to tell you. So coming to the patterns of biodiversity, In patterns of biodiversity, we'll be studying the latitudinal gradients. So what is this latitudinal gradient? Means latitudinal gradient in the diversity it is. When we refer species diversity, see here, species diversity decreases from the equator to the poles. So this is the equator. You can see here the equator. If you go in the North Pole, we find the Tropic of Cancer. If you come to the South Pole, we find the Antarctica Circle, Tropic of Capricorn. And who is that? Robert May. He will describe on the tropic species, not on the temperate also. So here in the tropic, how many species exist in the tropic latitudinal region, it ranges, we will try to understand. So here the species decreases. Here they tell the species diversity decreases from the equator when it moves to the poles. Coming to the North Pole, when we move to the North Pole, also it decreases, or we enter into South Pole also it decreases. So here we will range the tropics first, then we refer to the temperate. So when we consider tropics latitudinal, it will range from how much? 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degrees south. It have a more species than, see, this is what I am trying to tell you. Tropics has a more number of species than the temperate and the polar area. Arctic and Antarctic Circle means, you know, that is a snow bed. In the snow, there can be risen of the plants or existence of the animal species are very less, because that weather is not suitable for all type of organism to get adapted. So that's why in tropics what happened, when it is near to the equator, most of the rainforests are there, and the warmness is there for increase in the growth of the fungi might be, or increase in the breeding of the insects might be. So this what you tell, more sun rays also helps in the reproduction. Okay, so growth also occurs when there is light. The plant growth is maximum, photosynthesis gets maximum when there is sunlight, that is understood. So next, yeah. So for the examples of the latitudinal gradients, here in this picture, varieties of birds are there. So beautiful now to see different types of bird species. Here in Colombia, Colombia will come near to the equator. Here it is about how much? 1400 species we find. When we refer species means all will come. See in this picture I show animals, plants, okay. When we refer animals means varieties of animals, plants, varieties of plants. Together we call it them as a species. So here nearly about 1400 species exist near the equator, that is in the region Colombia. Then when we consider India, India in tropics we have how much? 1200 species. In New York 41 degree north it is, we find how much? Only 105 species. Coming to the Greenland 71 degree north, we find only 56 species. Now when we range a tropical forest region like Ecuador, as soon as you heard Ecuador, some children will think spelling mistake Equator. No, no, no. What is Ecuador? Might be some of you have heard, some of you have not written. Ecuador is a country in South America. Okay, so I will underline this. So here what they have given, even in your textbook it is given as Ecuador only. Tropical forest region like Ecuador. It has 10 times of vascular plant species as compared to the temperate forest region like Midwest of USA it seems. That means what? A tropical region has high number of species compared to the temperate forest. In tropical forest, Ecuador is a country I told you which is in South America. It has 10 times vascular plants. Which are vascular plants? You have studied in plant except bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm. all these three we call it as vascular plant, and all these plant species are 10 times more compared to the temperate forest region. So that's why we tell, so nearing to the equator we find the many species. As we move down or up from the equator we find less number of species. So latitudinal gradient, when we compared with the tropical forest region like Ecuador, I told you there are how many 10 times of vascular plant species compared to the temperate like Midwest of USA. So two regions they have compared. One is Ecuador of the tropical forest, another one is Midwest of the USA, which represent the temperate forest. So that is the difference between tropical forest and the temperate forest. Okay, so that is shown in this diagram. Next is Amazon forest. Amazon forest is called the lungs of the planet. As you know, it shows a great biodiversity on the earth, which is that Amazon forest. So when we see Amazon forest, the number of species existing in the Amazon rain forest, there are varieties of species existing. You find nearly 40,000 species of plants, 3,000 species of fishes, 1,300 species of birds, 427 species of mammals, 427 species of amphibian, 378 species of reptiles, and nearly 1,25,000 invertebrates exist. So the reason for the highest biodiversity in tropics, what is the reason? Means the reason is that tropics are more evolutionary in time. The relatively constant environment, the environment does not differ because it is since near the equator, it gets a good amount of a ranging sunlight for the growth and the development. So there the environmental is constant and the seasoning is less. There is no variation in the very variation in the season. Then they receive that's what I told you, they receive more solar energy, which contributes to the greater productivity. I told no, more the sunlight, more is the growth and development in the plants and also breeding level in the animals. So I told in the warmth place fungi will produce enormously, same in the warmth and the watery moisture content. If it is there, there will be highest multiplication of the different types of insects, also its development also. So that is the main reason why there is a highest biodiversity in the tropics. So now I think so you understood the difference between the tropical forest or the tropics and the temperate zone or temperate forest. So that is a main study which we learn in the latitudinal gradients. We are trying to tell the temperate and the tropic difference in this topic. So I feel you have understood. If you have not understood, see the video at least 2 to 3 times. I think so you'll come to one conclusion. What is latitudinal gradient? What is the difference between the tropics and the temperate? It is the main thing to learn in this topic. So far I've told so much also. What's the main thing we are going to learn? The difference the tropic and temperate, and why do we find more number of species, more number of plants and animals in the tropic? Why do we find less number of species or the animals and plants in the temperate? So that's the main theme of studying this topic. Okay, I believe you have understood. If you have any doubt, you contact me. I will clear your doubts also. So see you in the next class. Thank you.